Hi, we're back. We took a break for the holidays and we're back. So it's good to see Stephanie. We only see each other a
No.
few times a day on Zoom, not every day.
Mm-mm.
But thank God for Zoom. Wow, who knew that was going to be
No,
like the game changer of COVID?
it's so true. It's so
Yeah.
true. I know. I miss our days like of sitting outside together. Hopefully, we'll get back to that soon.
Yeah, we got food from the restaurant you and I usually do Fridays at.
Oh,
It was nostalgic for me. I got the same order. Go
you
figure.
did?
Yeah, go figure.
Oh,
Okay, so how do you, what?
it used to make me so happy.
I know. And Dan actually got your order, so it was just
Hmm.
irreplaced.
Great.
Anyway, so we're here today, January 8th, 2021, which, I honestly don't know how the days pass so quickly. Like it is really, maybe it's a function of age. Do you remember? I have to ask my
Yeah.
kids how they feel that, because like summer used to feel like it was a whole eternity and a whole life. And now summer's like 2 months. It's nothing,
Yeah.
but how did we get to the 8th? It was literally just New Year's Eve.
I just did that.
Yeah.
Same thing. All of a sudden, I had a thought, something I just copied you on, actually. And I was like, wait, is today already the 8th? How could that be?
I know, it's just unfathomable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Stephanie and I were thinking about, and I've actually been thinking about it because I found an old article I wrote for the Huffington Post when they had like openings for bloggers. And I wrote about how surprised I was that I didn't really know my kids.
Mm.
And it was funny to read it now because I wrote it a bunch of years ago. And I think it's actually, as I reflect on parenting, I think it's funnier that I think I do know other people, because I don't know if you've ever had this
Hmm.
experience, but I've been married 35 years, which is hard to believe because that means I'm older than that. But, I look over every once in a while, not often, but every once in a while, I look at the person next to me in bed and go, "Who is that?" Like, it's just so like, so we don't really know other people. We know what they share with us, right? Like,
Yeah, it's so true. It is so true. I was thinking about how like the things that I think will that they are worried about, and if I, have the guts to tee something up about it, right? And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, I totally." And then I'm like, "Great. Now did I make them worry about it, right?" And then vice versa. Like when they articulate something that they are worried about, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then and I think some of that, it touches on what you just said too, is it just perspective and aging? And I'm thinking, oh my God, like don't be worried about that. Like that, don't even let that take up. And then that just feels so invalidating, right?
well, I think some of that is having experienced life more
Yeah.
than their kids. And so like the things that they worry about seem like now in our world of worries seem so insignificant. But as you said, it's so good to remember not to invalidate what they're worried about when we aren't worried about the same thing. But
Yeah.
I remember being a kid, my family drove on a like family trip because that's what you did. I think we went to Toronto, and the only thing I remember about the trip is that the suitcase, it was one of those what were they called? Wagons. Oh my God, what were they, where the back you could lie down in, station wagon. Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah. I think you're
Talking
talking
about
about
age. Talking about age. So, the thing was on top and you would literally rope in the suitcases. And so
yeah.
we're crossing over a bridge and one of our suitcases fell off. Now, the
In a
thing is,
movie, I didn't realize that really happens.
yeah. And like we pulled over and I don't think it was a blip for anybody in the car, but it lived on. Like I became afraid of bridges. I was always
Oh.
panicked. And no one in my family knows that. I never shared it. And I once brought it up and they were like, what happened? So it's like also that we own our own fears sometimes and aren't ready or even necessarily aware. So how can we see inside our kids' heads, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, are there any stories that come to mind about not really, like when you realize you don't really know your kid? And
Um,
guys, if you're listening and you have a story that you want to share, we get really excited when you share with
Yeah,
us.
I feel like it happens daily. Like I'm trying to just like even go back in the last week, or even I mean the pandemic would be a huge example of like a million things where I like, oh, something came up about, oh, here's a good example. So my kids were with their cousins during break and they went to a place they love, like this little like mini donut place or whatever. And I heard they were going, and it's like a place like they frequent daily when they're with their cousins. And the next thing I knew, they're like, "Oh no, no, the kids aren't going there anymore." I'm like, oh, they love that place. Like, why aren't they going? They went there. Somebody in the establishment was not wearing a mask. And they're all like, we're out.
Wow. Wow.
We're out. And one of those somebodies is one of mine who already had COVID. And I said to him, I said, so let me ask you, I don't think you're scared of getting it. You just had it a couple of months ago. And he's like, no. He's like, I don't know. Seeing them touch things. And I mean, it was such an interest. I was like, oh my God.
Well, we just had 6 kids on to talk about like what they were going to do, what they were going to take into 2021 and what they were going to let go. And like their thoughtfulness and their social conscience, and
Oh my God.
like at their age, like in high school, it was so me and so worried about like really little things, and they are worried about big things. And so it just, I always have this feeling like we should stop taking down this generation.
100%.
Like they're different than we are and than when we were, but they're magnificent in their own right. Like anyway, so I was thinking about, I remember the very first time I realized like I just don't know. I picked up a kid who was away on a program and I said, how was it? And she said they were pretty wild. The kids were pretty wild. So I was like, okay, how do I respond to that? Do I ask what that means? Because I'm pretty sure that would shut down the conversation.
Totally.
So I let it sit for a little bit. And then I said, does that make you uncomfortable? Because I thought I'm going to go for, she's telling me because she didn't really like it.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I've gotten more comfortable with it. Like, that's not the first time you've been around drinking and doing drugs. Like, why don't I know this? You know? And so you start to see this like little of, it's almost like you're taken down from what you see.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny. And I think, and you and I have been doing this for a lot. We've been doing the parenting thing for a long time, but we've been doing the your teen thing for probably half that time. And it is the part where
it's true, Steph. It's more than half for you, but it's half for me.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy. And I think that it is that part where when people say like, oh my God, teens, I'm so scared of them. And those years are going to be awful. Or I've heard how awful. And I'm like, no, it's like I don't know, like you're getting to see these human beings like form. And in the same way, it was exciting when like a baby crawled or like they started to sit up and they saw the world. Right. Yeah. And I will definitely go on record. I'm not saying these years are easy. They are not at all.
Don't whitewash it now that you're.
No, that's what I'm saying. Right. I am not right. I want to be really clear. But I think what comes with it is them becoming more of themselves, right? And that's just so fascinating. You know, I'm always, like I always say to like my husband, I'm like, oh my God, like how did we do this? And our joke here is like, well, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, they give each other a special hug. But it really is just a fascinating thing. And I remember like growing up and I would think like, oh, I'm so different from my brother and sister. And like, how come we've been raised in the same home and same parents, and how, you have 3 siblings, and then you realize like we are who we are.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of components to that. So one of them is like nature versus nurture, which is, we're all born differently. But the other is like, I can tell you, I have been a different parent for each of my kids. Yeah. Some of it in reaction to who they seem to be born as, but some of it, you just get tired about, like for my 5th, my other kids would say they would tell him what to do. And I'd say, guys, I'm right here. I'm the mom. And they'd go, well, then be the mom. They were so irritated that we were so casual, cavalier about him. But, I look back at it and I think is it because we got tired? A little. But really, I think the flip side of that is that we understood what meant something to us. Yeah. And so it was different than what I understood with my firstborn, for sure. Like they're 19 with how I reacted to them. My firstborn, I was so hell-bent on perfection. Totally. And my youngest, I thought failing was like, yay, you tried. I know. I tried something and it didn't go perfectly. And I'm so proud of you. So that does impact who you become as a human being.
It's so true. And I was thinking when you said about like, like with the firstborn, I was thinking like we are different parents. And I wish I had my oldest here to cue in, because apparently when my family was together and I was not with them in Florida and with the extended family, there was a lot of conversation about how the firstborn very much believes we are different parents with 2 and 3. Todd said he walked into a conversation where Zach was talking about how much he got punished, which you've heard many times, Sue. So, Todd's like, you know what? I think I'm out of this conversation. Really funny, really funny. But you know what? I mean, in the same way, I am the first one in situations, and believe me, this has not been an easy year. There's been so much going on in the world and in our country. And I am the first one to come out of the gate and say, but this is this person's truth. It is their truth. And whether you agree with it or not, like, everyone has their truth. So I'm very quick to say that. And yet when it's my own kids, I'm like, you weren't punished all the time. What are you talking about?
Why? Because the you today would not have done that. And so it's just so hard to wrap your head around, being that insecure parent who, like, thinks that the world operates by, doing something wrong and getting a consequence. But and now, like, with my youngest, I just feel like he's pretty much feeling the consequence without me adding to it. Like, anyway, so there's a host of things that make us different parents, just passage of time, learning, life, all these other things, and being born with a different temperament and personality. Like, it's
so true.
Yeah. Anyway, so
you know what we should do? I put a link to the podcast with Jessica and Zach in this.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, there's no way I'm getting to it now, but we'll afterwards. And then before we get off, well, if anybody has anything to add, again, I'm going to tell you the delight you give to Sue and Steph if you put something in the comments. But consider it. Just start our new year good for us. But also, we just want to let you know that Monday night, if you're about to embark on the college process or just curious about it, Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be interviewing, Gen Pro is going to be interviewing Ron Lieber. His new book is The Price You Pay for College, something like that.
Yeah.
Not out yet. We'll also put a link in the comments for that. You have to register, but it's free. And his book comes out in 2.5 weeks. And it's really worth the read. I mean, I think everything we promote is worth the read, but if you're going into the college process now, I definitely encourage you to read it. You won't be able to read it before he comes on, so get on and hear what he has to say this coming Monday, and we'll put the link in the comments if that's something you want to.
And we do have a comment here. Do you see the comment?
I do. I'm going to share it. First of all, Facebook user with no name, we love you. My son got out of bed and came down and snuggled with me on Wednesday night and said, I want to watch the implosion of our country. You always say I'm a student of history because I love it so much. Wow. Sleep took a second place to hanging out with mom. Okay. That's amazing.
That's a beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That is so.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing.
It's Lori.
Lori, why are you coming up as Facebook user today? But the thing is that you had to do that is so sad that he had to talk about the implosion of our country. But hopefully it has a little bit of a feeling like hitting rock bottom and turning around. So hopefully.
Yeah. And how lovely that he wanted to, like, you were his safe space.
Yeah. Beautiful. Kathy says, thank you all for all these videos. I really enjoy them and learn through them. Thank you so much, Kathy. Kathy, you know what? Lori's been on our Monday behind the scenes. So we are inviting people who are commenting on our Facebook Lives to join us. If you would like to be on one of those with us, we'd be thrilled to have you. I'm going to send you a message. So I think if we're not friends on Facebook, it goes into a weird folder. So just see if you can check.
Well, here's the other thing. Not Lori. I'm sorry. What was her name? Kathy. If Kathy enters that, the other thing is I just noticed her Facebook picture. You can have a curly hair girl discussion because she has great curly hair. I could see it in that pic. So I don't know if that was her day 1 hair or her day 2 hair.
I'm desperate to find out about day 2 because I have no day 2. Kathy, I'm going to put my email in the comments. So email me if you would like to be a guest because we'd love to have you. I think hopefully that's going up. Yeah, it did. Okay. So anything else to add, Steph?
No, nothing.
All right. Well, to a
Yeah.
good 2021 for all of you as parents and all of us as a nation, and have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.